Good morning. Welcome to our discussion on the AI productivity revolution. I'm Simon Nixon. I edit Wealth of Nations, a new publication looking at international and geopolitics and geoeconomics. I'm delighted to welcome Yana Andronopoulou, the Chief Executive of Microsoft in Greece, Cyprus, and Malta, and Peter Corte, who is the Chief Technology Officer and Chief Strategy Officer of Siemens. There's been an enormous amount of excitement around AI over the last year, particularly in 2023. More than 200 million people around the world have now used ChatGPT. The Magnificent Seven stocks in the US have driven the stock markets to new highs on excitement of what AI might do for the world. But so much of the debate around AI focuses on risks and regulation and sort of speculative things about what could go wrong. But we want to focus this discussion on the immediate here and now. What are the opportunities for AI for businesses today, and how can it help businesses drive their own performances today using the technology that's available? So without further ado, I start with you, Yana, please. I mean, what do you see as the big opportunities for AI for businesses?
First of all, to comment that we passed from the year of announcements back in 2023 to the year of actual adoption of AI. So actually, I see it already delivering great value. Let me give you some examples from Greece. Actually, the government started and paved the way with the My AI Gov. This is one of the largest, let's say, scale projects on delivering citizen experiences and access to government information in Europe currently. And it reached up to 600,000 interactions from the moment it was launched back in December. We also see this momentum on the private sector. So actually, Greece was one of the countries that had the first 7 customers experimenting the preview of Copilot in Microsoft amongst the first top 600 customers in the world. And we see this momentum being advanced. Right now, 66% of our top layer enterprises, or the largest enterprises of the country, are already experimenting and launching Copilot. So this is a great momentum, and it seems that there is an environment where people and organizations understand the benefits in productivity that the AI brings. And why this is happening now? Because it's the first time that we have in our hands a technology that is so easy to interact with, because you can really interact using natural language. And this technology can empower us to not only to solve productivity problems, but also solve the major challenges that humanity faces, like address climate change, address hunger, address health challenges. And into that, it's not one company that, let's say, will perform that. We need an ecosystem. And actually, we have, Siemens is one of our partners in the ecosystem, where Siemens has built on our platforms an industrial copilot that actually enhances the human-to-machine interaction, and it boosts automation. Okay, so actually, I wouldn't focus on the technology. I would focus that AI already delivers value if we really focus on people, ideas, and business-led innovation. And it helps us to augment our capabilities as humans, address major challenges that before we were not able to address, and also create new opportunities for all.
Yes, well, Peter, I mean, Yana mentioned that Microsoft and Siemens have a joint venture on AI. I mean, well, how do you see, have you got some examples of how AI is already enabling your customers to drive productivity?
Yeah, as Yana said, nobody can do it alone. So you have to have a strong tech platform, but you also have to have a very dedicated vertical know-how, how these things are being operated. Let me first just say that we have to differentiate that the traditional AI, neural networks, they've been around for a long time. So today we have highly autonomous trams running based on AI. We have grids based on AI. We have factories that use cobots or robots based on trained AI. So there's that element. What we are, I guess, focusing right now is more on the generative AI part. And generative AI is really bridging the last gap to the humans, because what we realize is we all suffer significantly from demographic change. People are getting older, we don't get enough skilled labor into the factories. And very often they don't have a sophisticated understanding of the machines that they're operating. So what if you could just, in whatever language, by the way, you could operate these machines by just using layman terms of saying, get me these roses and put them over here, and the robot will do it, thanks because of ChatGPT and behind what we call the industrial co-pilot, which has been reinforcement training and trained on the very settings that we have there. And that frees up, obviously, a lot of training. It really lowers the hurdle for using these technologies, and it frees up, of course, a lot of ideas of where we can use it elsewhere. And that's just the beginning. So that's the human-machine interface on the shop floor. But we see significant potential when we think about devices become more intelligent and so therefore require software. And somebody has to write this software. And this is where we realize is that ChatGPT or any kind of GPT models are really good at writing software and testing and documenting. And the documentation part, this is usually software developers really don't like that, and ChatGPT is brilliant at it. So we are still exploring of what are the most prominent use cases. Even we at Siemens, we run 350 proof of concept as we speak. We think the most pervasive one's going to be the human-machine interaction and the coding in the software development.
So as technology, from the technologists or people from the technology sector, I mean, you're obviously very optimistic about AI and its potential, but how are you finding customers, industrial customers particularly, but your customers generally, how are they receptive to a conversation about AI? Are they excited themselves? Are you having much success with trying to persuade them to adopt these new technologies? Jana, first you.
So actually, let me give you some examples across industries, and then I go to the manufacturing. So what we see, for example, in the banking sector, we see a lot of effort to develop their own co-pilots in order to enhance the experience with their customers and also have actionable AI, so not only to fetch information, but also recommend to their customers, the best option for them. Back to code generation, there are banks today that are leveraging so much AI-based code generation that they are even putting this in their contracts because they see so much productivity gain when they make a contract with a software integrator that develops software for them. In retail, we see a lot of success leveraging AI as we speak on the customer service and add-on sales. So they have the holistic view of the customer. They help their agent having access immediately to the appropriate recommendation for their customer or in order to resolve their problem if they call for a problem. In education, we see a lot of cases around personalized coaches for education, and also in developing inclusive content for education. In health, many cases, not only on identifying, and understanding better the exams, but also on the better management of hospitals, arrangement of surgeries. And in the US, we have a case, for example, where doctors save 9 hours per week by having AI transcripting the discussion with the patient and putting the summary in the patient's files. If I move to the manufacturing, and it's a more challenging industry, I will give 2 examples that we have already in Greece leveraging successfully AI, but I will also mention some, why I say it's more challenging right now. One example is Titan Cement. This is a company, let's say, producing cement and has a broad presence across the world. And they are leveraging AI currently as we speak in a smart plant setup where they have sensors and they are analyzing in real time statistics from the operation and adapting the machinery on how they produce, let's say, the outcome that they want in terms of product. They are also managing managing their spare parts management system, and they are also plan to leverage AI also on the training of their engineers, let's say with augmented reality. A second case is Mytilineos Group, that they are leveraging computer vision in order to load successfully their products at the ports. And actually this case enabled them to reduce the error rate to almost zero. It was something that they were not even expecting, and this was a great case. Of course, the manufacturing has a lot of legacy equipment. It's very, very important to ensure that they have the data in place and in good quality in order to be able to leverage this data and capture the AI potential. And it's very, very important to upskill the people, because this is the talent development and digital upskilling is crucial in this sector in order to capture all the opportunity with AI.
Mm-hmm. Peter, I mean, essentially, what are you finding that customers are receptive to AI? And in particular, I suppose, how can businesses take advantage of it? What would be your suggestion or recommendations to businesses that are interested in want to explore how to use AI?
So there's a bad news, and the bad news is that there's more and more regulation coming, right, with regards to sustainability, cybersecurity, resilience, and so on and so on. So many companies are really fighting with, more regulation coming their way. So their life has become more complex. I mentioned demographic change. I mentioned shorter time to markets. So it's really becoming competitive. So there's a lot of challenges around. The good news is, though, I'm not sure if you knew that the most amount of data that is being created on a daily basis actually sits in factories. Actually, it's in the industrial environment. And most of this data today is not harnessed. So the first step is you have to connect. So as mundane as it may sound, that is really the first step, because AI is really all about trained on very good data sets. So having the access to that data and making that available is the first step. So having what we call a brownfield connector that connects to any kind of devices and gives you that intelligence really brings it all together. But then the next step is, as Jana said, is as you build these data models and to train them, they need to become really easy to use and intuitive. And this is where you can use a lot of applications like low code or whatsoever, really bring this together. Let me give you an example that we have here in Greece is buildings, right? Buildings obviously are 40% contributing to global CO2 emissions. So the fight against climate change is won or lost in cities. This is the way we think about it. And so making buildings much more energy efficient is the key. Now, in buildings, you have building management systems, you have sensors for lighting, you have sensors for the HVAC systems and so on. So you have devices. But the first step is you have to connect all these devices into one part, which we call Building X, which is a SaaS-based platform where you can very easily integrate all this data that comes from various sources. And then you can build the data lake and the pool around it for you specifically as an operator, and then identify sources of how you can significantly reduce your energy consumption, in this case 40%. So it's a very valuable part of how we can help, for example, building operators to become much more efficient, more sustainable by using the power of data.
So we're running out of time. So just a sort of last question, really, to both of you, very and sort of briefly. But do you think 2023 was the year that everybody talked about AI? Is 2024 the year that it will actually people will start implementing it, using it, and will it deliver a productivity revolution? Jana,
I think yes. I think we have the elements. There are some important parameters. Okay, number one is I mentioned people and upskilling, very, very important. Technology foundation, so connectivity, cloud, edge were needed. Very, very important to be in place. Ecosystems, so actually the right partnerships. There are the enablers. There is a unique opportunity this time with the access and the democratization of the technology. So we have to exploit that responsibility. So in order to use this and be productive, really, we have to have a responsible AI framework. And also to always focus on business-led innovation. So to really try to solve a business problem and a culture of experimentation, because now things are moving much faster than what things were moving in the past. So it's important to shift to addressing a business problem, but experiment, be able, let's say, also to see if there is a failure, adapt quickly, and restart. That's all.
And Peter?
Very simple. Those who will use AI will leave behind those who will not use AI. And we see that actually the acceleration of technology is happening even faster. So you have to catch up. You have to do the connectivity. You have to have all the competence in-house. And then you have to use AI in order to do this. If you don't, you fall further and further behind. So while we don't know yet exactly where the largest use case is, I gave you a few where we think, also together in our partnership with Microsoft, where we think we can drive these, we still will see where that is. But there's absolutely going to be value. And for those who are the fastest to find where that is and use it, they will outcompete anybody else.
Well, and I suppose we've got a couple of seconds left, so let's use them up. So what are the obstacles that need to be overcome between now to make it happen? What's the biggest obstacle?
For me, it was mentioned before, we shouldn't focus too much on regulation. We should capture the opportunity to innovate while we regulate, and also understand that data is, and high quality of data is the essence of the AI outcome. So if we train the AI with wrong data, we will not get the outcomes that we would like to. And to always remember that AI also has some limitations. For example, emotional intelligence is not there. So there are always, or creativity. So there are always, for the way we see it, AI is here to augment humans. If we take this into account, we can, I think the sky is the limit.
And in a word, Peter?
Well, access. Access to data, access to skills. These are the two things. If you have that together, then everything else is there.
Thank you. Well, that's an optimistic note to end on, so thank you very much indeed. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.